You feel like you're not good enough. When something good happens in your life, you can't even be happy. Your work performance, your school performance is going down the drain. Your relationships are also going down the drain because of your insecurities. Your space is a mess. You feel pressured to know exactly what you want to do with your life, and sometimes the small things just seem really hard. Your low self-esteem and self-sabotaging is not getting you anywhere close to where you want to be in life. We're going to go over exactly what is going on and how you can start taking some steps to improve your life, because right now we're not going to live this life anymore. So we're first starting off with your scarcity mindset, which, girl, I'm calling myself out here too, okay? Have you ever walked into a place like a gym and you're feeling good, you put on a cute fit, you got some makeup on, you're just like feeling yourself today, and then all of a sudden you see someone walk in and she is gorgeous, and then immediately you're like,
I look like crap.
I feel so bad about myself. Everything that I did doesn't even matter because she is so much better than me. And I'm calling myself out on this one, where I've been out before by myself and I see a really beautiful girl walk in and my immediate thought is,
Good thing my boyfriend isn't here, because if he saw her, he would like her more than me.
girl, this is the scarcity mindset that we are breaking out of. We are breaking away from that because it is so toxic. And guess what? It's all coming from your head. These are all realities, all the things that you're saying. You're creating this for yourself. So the first actionable step we're going to take is literally calling ourselves out. Calling ourselves out on the bullshit when it happens. What we're gonna do is literally observe your habits every single day for a week. Observe what you feel, what you're saying to yourself throughout the week, and catch yourself. You're gonna be super self-aware of when you start feeling those negative thoughts about yourself. You have to be super hyper aware of when you're doing this, because when you start looking at people and comparing yourself to them, and you're doing this subconsciously, like this is not a conscious thing, it's just a passing thought in your head, but guess what? All of those thoughts start adding up, and that becomes a narrative that you tell yourself every single day. I just feel bad about myself. Her beauty completely cancels out my beauty. Another woman's beauty is not the absence of my own. I want you to start saying that. This is how we start shifting the mindset from comparing ourselves to people we see to starting to compare ourselves to ourselves. Social media is literally so amazing, and it can also be so damaging if you are stuck in this mindset right now. We will see images of people living their best lives. You will see beautiful women, beautiful models, people that have curated photos or flexing their amazing apartment that they're living in that you desperately wish you had. And on social media, I see so many people talking about body positivity, talking about, oh, this is not realistic, this is not realistic. But the thing is, you will see beautiful people in the world. It's a harsh reality to realize that there are people that are actually just naturally beautiful. There are people that are born into wealth. That's amazing and great for them, but that does not mean that it takes anything away from you, from your beauty, your uniqueness, because nobody is you. Literally nobody on this planet is you, and every single person has unique things about them, and that's the most beautiful thing that you can ever bring to the world, is your uniqueness, is your originality and your authenticity. So we need to stop the self-sabotaging of comparing your life to other people's lives, because it just doesn't matter. Their life literally has zero impact on your reality. So this is literally stepping away from that scarcity mindset into the abundance mindset of everybody has their own stuff going on, okay? So the second point is that you are living in the extremes. You are either a failure or you are a success. You have either made it or you're just a pathetic person that is not living up to their potential. Just because you have taken weeks off, just because you have felt like you can't get out of bed most days, this does not mean that you're a failure. This does not mean you are pathetic. You do not have a pathetic life. If you are in a rough spot right now, if you have trauma that you are working on right now, that you're healing, that you're like, this is hard, this point in my life is so difficult, do not look at your life right now and say that you are a failure. Do not look at your life and say that you are not progressing. By saying that, you are discounting your whole experience, your whole life experience. A couple years ago, I had just graduated from college and I was suffering with panic attacks. And you know, at that point, I had settled in my mind that this is how my life was going to be. And it felt horrible. It was the worst time of my life because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't feel like I had a purpose. I didn't know what my life was about. And the thing that completely changed my world, that shifted my mindset, was I realized that it wasn't that I couldn't do what I wanted to do, it's that I wouldn't do it. You know, we are born with all these dreams and aspirations that we want to live up to, but you're living right now in the reality where those dreams and aspirations are just something to haunt you and to hurt you, because guess what? You're never going to get there. No, of course, the dreams and aspirations, that is what you're meant to do. That is your purpose. If you have thought of it and dreamt it, there is a way for it to happen and you just haven't found it yet. Everybody has their trauma. Every single person on this planet has trauma. Nobody is lucky enough to not have experienced some sort of trauma in their life. If you've ever heard of shadow work or journaling or doing any self-work, this is why it's so important to get really deep into why you are in the situation that you are right now. And shadow work just helps uncover some past traumas, resentment that you have that you're not even aware of. Doing the self-work and actually taking the time to understand yourself and understand where your issues are coming from is so painful. Honestly, the hardest part is recognizing and starting to observe your patterns and habits and reasons why you're feeling that way. But I'm telling you guys, and I'm telling you from my experience, that once I address these issues, everything seemed to be so much more clear. It's like I was able to clear the path ahead, where it wasn't like I was just walking around not knowing like where I was going. I had such a better understanding of where I was coming from. Healing your past traumas is going to help you with your low self-esteem so much, because you can finally put the past in the past. Like, it's literally not a part of your reality anymore. It's just memories. Like, that's all it is. It's not a part of your reality right now. The past is the past, and now we need to focus on the future. If you're at the point where any of this self-work sounds like ridiculous to you and you don't want to do it, then I'm sorry, but nothing is going to help you, because you're not willing to actually listen to people that have gone through this. You're not willing to listen to advice that is actually going to help you improve your life. You can be stuck in your ways. You can be stuck and shut off in your mindset right now, but that's not going to change anything. And I know you clicked on this video because you want to change something. This may be the most difficult thing that some of you watching this will go through, but literally go to a mirror and look yourself in the eyes and say, I am beautiful, and mean it, and say it again and say it again over and over, and look at yourself in the eyes. If you have low self-esteem, you look down. You may literally physically look down when you're walking around in public. You may not make eye contact, but most of all, you look down on yourself. When you can meet yourself, meet your gaze in the mirror and tell yourself that you are beautiful, and start doing that every single day. This is what I did, and it built my confidence so much, because after a while, I started believing it. And then I started feeling myself. I'm like, hell yeah, girl, you look great today. You start building an unbreakable confidence in yourself because you truly believe it and you love yourself. There's so many people out there saying, love yourself, love yourself. What does it even mean? It means building an alliance with yourself. It means being aligned with your values and your beliefs and applying it to yourself. Create your own standard of beauty. Nobody else needs to look like you. You don't need to look like anybody else. Whatever is trending, whatever is cute at the moment, who cares? Become so proud of yourself for how far you've come. And you know what? When you look at yourself in the mirror, you are looking back at your past self of that little kid, the little version of you, and you are speaking directly to her. I truly believe that the little girl version of myself is so beautiful, and she's so kind and funny and generous, and that's me. And so every single time that you say something negative about yourself, you are talking directly to that little girl. Create the reality that you want. Create the reality where you are kind to yourself. When you're just feeling lost and disconnected, you don't even know what you like or dislike, and you just feel like your life is spiraling because you don't know what your purpose is, the first thing you need to do is be honest with yourself. What are you good at? What are you average at? And what are you not so good at? The extreme belief system I was talking about being a failure or a success, this will completely trump all of that. Because you know what? You're going to start realizing that you're good at things, you're average at things, and you're not so good at things. This is so humbling and uplifting because there are some things that you're like, yeah, you know what? I need to work on this area in my life. What are the things that I can actually do to get better at them if you want to get better at them? Sometimes you don't even want to get better at them, and maybe you'll discover something that you've been hanging on to so long that you're like, you know what, actually I don't even care. Like, why was I trying so hard to be good at this? Like, why? And the things that you are good at, you need to recognize that. You might just discover or remind yourself of skills that you're really good at, or passions or hobbies that you totally forgot about, that you're like, oh my gosh, I loved making clay characters when I was younger. Why don't I try that again? Focus on the future. Okay, this is all to help build yourself now. This next piece of your low self-esteem comes from you becoming paralyzed when there's change, you becoming paralyzed when there's a new challenge that happens in your life. Well, let me tell you that highly successful people and high-performing people have self-doubt too. There's only one thing that separates them from you. The reason why they're not paralyzed by failure when things get hard is because they are used to leaning into that fear, and they know how to push past their boundaries of their comfort zone. And it just simply takes practice. The only difference between you and the most successful people in the world is literally practice. Not perfection, but literally just practice. Perfection is an extreme, and remember, we're not living in extremes anymore. Now, this is amazing. I love this so much because you can practice facing your fears in little micro steps, okay, throughout your day. For example, I used to feel really, really shy talking to people in public. Like, it was something that I just would not do. I would make sure to go through the drive-thru anytime I got a Starbucks because I did not want to talk to the baristas. I was terrified, okay? I would force myself to park my car, walk into the Starbucks, and order up front. And I would look at the barista and notice something that I genuinely really like, and I would comment. Because how many times, oh my gosh, okay, how many times have you been at a store, been somewhere, and you see someone, you're like, oh my gosh, they have the cutest something. They have the cutest shoes. They have the cutest earrings. And you don't say anything because you're like petrified, but you're like, dang it. And you get that feeling inside like, oh man, I kind of wish I told them something because they look so cool. Those are the opportunities, like that inside feeling that you have. Lean into that. And like, that's the gut feeling that should drive you and compel you to actually make these interactions. I started complimenting them. I would say, oh my gosh, I love your earrings. And guess what? There was not a single time that anyone was ever mean to me, because complimenting someone is literally the best and easiest way to start interacting with them. Once you start developing these micro habits, then you start realizing this is not very hard. Like, this is not hard, and this is not scary like I thought it was. Yes, sometimes I still get a little flutter in my stomach if I'm like, all right, just go talk to them. But once I do, I just feel at ease. I'm like, okay, great. I feel great about this because I actually did the thing that was scary before. And you know what the crazy thing about this is it starts just trickling down into all areas of your life, where there's little boosts of confidence that you're giving yourself throughout the day, and it just feels amazing. So to help you start developing your confidence and finding your voice, I came up with an acronym, PSA. It's your planning steps in action, and this is what you have control over every single day, and these are actionable things that you can do to help achieve the things that you want. So for your planning, you have control over your intentions. The steps, you can plan out exactly what steps you need to take in order to achieve something, and the action is literally just doing the things that you set yourself up to do. Now, notice how I did not include outcome. Okay, I did not include outcome because you do not have control over it. But the beautiful thing about this is you're actually creating the outcome by controlling how you plan, how you execute that plan, and practicing those steps over and over again. And this is applicable to literally any part of your life. Say you want to pass your math class, you need to get very specific about what you need to do in order to do that. For example, it might be planning on going to the library for 3 days this week from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. and going to the study session that they have offered. And then you literally just have to take action of going to class, of going to those study sessions like you planned out for yourself. Most of the time, we just don't even have a plan. We're just like complaining on our couch that we're not passing our math class, yet we have zero plan and zero execution. And you know what? You could say, well, I tried going or I tried doing blah, 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 but you're not actually holding yourself accountable because you didn't plan ahead of time. Let's stop complaining and let's start doing. Now, this next part is for everyone out there that is struggling with just the everyday things. Like the everyday tasks are so hard to do and seem really impossible. I want to share some wisdom from a woman named Casey Davis, who's an amazing speaker. I'll link her TED Talk below about this. And she talks about all of our care tasks, like doing the laundry, doing the dishes, brushing your teeth, taking care of yourself. All of those care tasks are morally neutral. What this means is that you are not a bad person if you have clothes on the floor. You're not a bad person if you have not done laundry in a week and you are just running out of clothes to wear. You're not a bad person if you didn't do the dishes. And I also love the point she makes about things being in a cycle. Laundry is in a cycle. Dishwashing is in a cycle. Nothing is done. So we always say, I need to get the laundry done. I need to do the dishes. And all things in a cycle are not permanent. So you might have clothes in the laundry, you might have clothes on the floor, clothes on the bed. Every single step in the cycle is morally neutral. So you are not a bad person for struggling with getting them done. And I love this quote by Casey Davis. She says, I signed up to make sure my family always has clean dishes to eat off of. I did not sign up to make sure that they never have dirty ones. Wow, I love that so much because it's such a transformational mindset to have. If you have a family that you're taking care of, or if you're just taking care of yourself and you find these tasks really hard to deal with, then you know what? Make it applicable to you. Make this easy for yourself. If folding your clothes does not serve you, if you can put the clothes in the laundry and you're like, I literally cannot fold them, don't fold them. Literally just get a bin and have clean clothes in the bin and pull them out as you need. Do simple things that are going to make your life so much better. If you mentally cannot take a shower today, grab the baby wipes. You deserve to live in a sanitary environment and you deserve to have a clean body. You deserve to feel better. Now, I talk about all of this because you are not the same as any other person on this planet. You are your own, you are unique, so own it and have the courage to endure the challenges and fears that you come across in life. You don't need to follow anybody else's goals because that is their own reality, that is not yours, but you can take inspiration from others, take inspiration from their lifestyle and their habits, but also keep in mind that you are just seeing the outcome of their actions. Okay, you are not seeing every single step they took to stay disciplined to their goals. The most important part is to focus on the one thing that you can do right now, today. When we start getting overwhelmed and thinking of too many things to do, we just shut down and stop. Focus on the one area of your life that you can improve, and I promise you, it's going to start improving other areas of your life as well. And failing at something and being embarrassed, that is not the end of the world. That just means that you are living and that you're experiencing life, and that is just the most beautiful thing that you can do. The main point I want to tell you is that you are worthy of love. You were born worthy of love. As the cute little tiny baby that you were, that was so deserving of love, you are so deserving of love as you are right now. You are so worthy and capable of creating a life that you want and deserve, and you are not too late. You can never be too late to start improving your life and stepping into a higher version of yourself. Leave comments down below for other people that are watching this video and give them some advice or ask some questions, and we're going to be here for you. This little community of ours is here to support each other. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.